Boxers, welcome to the end of another week. Time for Totally Fucked Up, probably still Friday somewhere in the world by the time I upload this. And what a week. I mean, there was a very interesting, slightly troubling from an ethical point of view, science news about scientists developing a human pig chimera with the ultimate aim to be able to grow organs that could be transplanted into humans. There is obvious ethical concerns with this sort of experimentation and to what extent you can take it until it becomes sort of mad science territory, but rest assured, someone's doing it. Someone's taking it as far as they can. It might take a decade, it might take a century, but if it's possible, someone's gonna do it. Little walking, talking piggies going around giving up their organs. It'll happen. But hey, human pig chimeras, we've already seen that! Ha ha ha! Champagne comedy! That's how you do it, kids. Oh my word, if I come up with a few more jokes like that, he'll be out of office inside a month. Well, no, obviously not, but I intend to keep having as much fun as possible at his expense because he keeps providing the material. But, and I'll throw this out, and this is something that Trump detractors need to recognize if they don't, the week is basically killer wins for Trump in terms of policy and things he did. Like, it's win-win, like this ridiculous travesty of the wall, gonna build the wall. I would say no, you're not, but it would not be the first time this year that the US has wasted hundreds of billions of dollars, because that's how much it would cost, and that is what it would be. A waste. But then again, you look at the military-industrial complex and how much money gets pissed away on that, and anything's possible. Maybe it'll happen, because Trump just signed, it's happening. At that point, as far as his supporters are concerned, he kept his promise. Anyone who blocks him for common sense reasons like this is a waste of fucking money, they'll be called traitors. Trump wins automatically. Then you have that fucking idiot Paul Ryan saying, oh yeah, the Congress will authorize this. So like, and this, okay, but the one bit, the insult to intelligence is Mexico will pay for it. It gets to the point where you no longer know if someone's lying or stupid when they keep saying outrageous things. Or, of course, the third option, and this I think is most commonly the true one, Trump thinks his supporters are fucking morons. If he says Mexico will pay for it, there are hordes of utter fucking morons who literally believe that to be true. That will never happen. He's come up with this hedging thing. He's going, oh, I'll pay for it by adding a 20% levy on all Mexican goods that come into the US. So you mean US citizens will pay for it? That's what you actually mean. Mexico won't pay that money. That will be US citizens. So first, US citizens will pay for it with their taxes, and then you say you're going to offset that tax with another tax that's also paid by US citizens. I don't say this to change anyone's mind, because at this point, anyone still on Trump's side is a fucking moron, okay? Now, I'm not saying every Republican is a moron. I'm saying I disagree with Republicans. But if you think Trump is a good person and will achieve good things, you're a fucking moron. It's all about him and his ego. And I'll admit, yeah, look, for him, that wall thing, that is absolutely a win for his ego and his lunatic base. Same as everyone's upset, signs the executive order for what's known as the global gag order on funding for healthcare, which means that anyone who gets funding from the US in any country in the world to save lives is not allowed to mention that abortion exists. Now, as a simple statement of fact, enforcing that rule will kill thousands of women. That is an irrefutable fact. That is what happens. Making abortion illegal or impossible to acquire does not and never has in history reduced the number of abortions. It just creates unsafe abortions. Now, again, I'm not saying that to change anyone's mind, and this is something progressives need to understand. Stating that fact, and it is an absolute fact, will not change the mind of a single anti-abortion activist or politician. And you know why? They have this fantasy that only bad women get abortions. They are bad and them dying is their fault. The mentality is if they didn't get the abortion, they wouldn't die. They completely refuse to accept any of the economic arguments and health arguments as to why that was the best option for the woman. They just think bad person, if they die, it's their fault. So yeah, progressives, point it out as much as you like. This order will definitely kill thousands of women, and the anti-abortion campaigners do not fucking care, okay? They just don't care. You need to wrap your head around this. There's all this somewhere between jokes and furor about, oh, they keep saying post facts, post truth, you can argue facts. Look, that is literally what they do. It is the oldest tactic of authoritarians. It's literally what the Nazis did. People have quoted the passages from 1984 where the party's ultimate aim is to get you to refuse the evidence of your eyes and ears. That's like Soviet Russia, or for that matter, Putin Russia is also doing that. It's a thing totalitarians have always done. Tell people just because you saw irrefutable proof of something doesn't mean it's true, okay? If it contradicts your worldview, you don't have to accept that it's true, even if it patently, obviously is. There was an interesting little side bit. The Washington Post did a survey. Yes, Washington Post, notorious purveyor of fake news. That's just up the ante because it's clear Trump is deeply upset by his lack of popularity. He lies blatantly about the people that saw his inauguration, despite the fact you can objectively prove really quickly he's lying. He doesn't stop saying it because his ego is so fragile, which, incidentally, as I said before, is why I keep going at him. I can't change his policies. I can't change his government. But if I can just add a little bit to the fact that he knows that people think he's a fucking joke, then it makes me feel better, okay? It achieves nothing apart from making me feel better, so I'm going to keep doing it. So the Washington Post did a survey, and they had some Trump voters, some non-voters, some Clinton voters. And they showed them the photos. And there were two groups. One, they literally said, this is Obama's inauguration. This is Trump's inauguration. You could just look at it and see a radically smaller number of people at Trump's inauguration. And say, which one had the most people? And surprise, surprise, a huge chunk of Trump supporters denied the evidence of their eyes and pointed at the picture that obviously had less people in it and said, that one has more people in it. Okay, that's bad enough when they're told it's Trump and whatnot. Another group weren't explicitly told Trump Obama. But, of course, Trump supporters know deep in their dark little hearts that what Trump's saying is a lie, but that won't stop them from repeating the lie. So people were literally just shown the two photos with no context and said, which one shows more people? 15% of Trump supporters still said the picture that obviously had less people in it had more people in it because they knew what the pictures were. So just given a simple question, you can see two groups of people which has more people in it. They deliberately chose the obviously untrue one. And you get fuckwits defending us because I'm up in your face. I don't care. I'm just going to say something that's not true. And that is it again. It is almost pointless to argue this, but I like making fun of them. But this is not about changing minds. Like I said, anyone who is still actively supporting Trump is such fucking scum, okay? I refuse to mince words. I'm not pandering to anyone. This is not a different point of view. It's just like, you're actively advocating for lies, oppression, and bigotry. You can't get around that. You lie and say you can, but an objective observer thinks, wow, you're actively supporting lies, bigotry. Wow, what's that about? It's something that I won't stay quiet about, okay? I'm just going to keep pointing out what it is you're doing, even if it's not going to change you, because, I don't know, I love futile tasks, I guess. It's like, oh my God, and the ongoing drama about should we punch Nazis? Like, I made my view quite clear on this. But for the people who aren't active supporters of the neo-Nazis, who still agonise over it. I mean, obviously, I pay no attention at all to the actual supporters of the neo-Nazis. But people who don't support them, like, oh, but you should be able to say your political view without getting punched. It's like, if you say that, what you are saying is, oh, I validate genocide as an acceptable political platform. It fucking isn't. That's why you punch Nazis. That's why I don't say punch people you disagree with. Disagreement is disagreement. But being a Nazi who advocates for fucking genocide has to be shut down. Because you know what happens when you don't shut them down? And that's the other thing. We've got really responsible people going, look, no matter how much that guy deserved it, no matter how much Nazis deserve it, you know what'll happen. If you punch the Nazis, eventually someone's got to punch someone who's not a Nazi just because they disagree with them. And based on history and human nature, I would say that is almost definitely true. Somebody will punch someone who doesn't deserve it, who is just expressing a different view, and they'll use this punch Nazis thing as their justification. And if you then go like, oh, that means you shouldn't punch Nazis. Here's a little head scratcher for you. If you're worried about negative effects of not punching Nazis, why don't you spend a little bit of time contemplating, maybe with a history book, what happens when you don't fucking stop Nazis?